Hey, what's up, guys? I got a quick review for you of a movie I just watched last night that I had never heard of before it got announced, and that's Skinner, put out by Severin Films. Came out in 1993, and I think there was a lot of controversy with this because the director was married to someone called the Hollywood Madam or something. I don't know anything about the story. I think she was a killer or something. I don't really know, but I guess the movie was controversial because of that, and I guess a lot of people compared it to The Silence of the Lambs just because the killer wears pretty much people's skin. But I'll get into a little plot before I tell you what I thought of the actual film. General plot is Ted Raimi. He's a serial killer named, I think it's Charles Skinner or something. Dennis Skinner. And he's a serial killer, and he pretty much, you see him traveling into this town, and he ends up renting a house in Ricky Lake's house because they're looking for someone to rent a room, and you're pretty much just following him as he kills prostitutes and all that, and Ricky Lake kind of starts to develop a relationship with him and all that. So there's that whole, type thing with him, Ricky Lake, and then she actually has a boyfriend or a husband. It's not really kind of said what exactly is going on there, but he's causing trouble with that whole relationship. But Tracy Lords is also in this, the famous porn star who basically was doing porn when she was underage, and there was a whole controversy with that in the 80s, but she ended up doing a lot of horror back then, and she plays like a kind of like a Man in Black type character where she's basically pretty much dressed in black head to toe, and she's on a hunt for Ted Raimi, and so you get a lot of really cheesy dialogue with her basically shooting herself up with like some kind of insulin or drug or something, just, oh, I'll get you, blah blah blah, and it's just like really cheesy, atrocious dialogue when it comes to her. But you still like her character though later on in the movie. Ricky Lake probably was actually the best actress in the whole thing. I'm not a big Ricky Lake fan, but she gave a solid performance. Now, Ted Raimi really makes and sells the movie. I mean, it's one of those things where his performance is, you can't really take it seriously if you know Ted Raimi. Like, if you've seen a lot of his other small performances in movies, like there'll be some stuff where you look at him and just the facial expressions he's doing or whatever, it almost makes you laugh out loud, but then he'll do something right after that is kind of creepy. It's a really kind of bizarre kind of little thing he has going with this performance, but I really dug it. Actually, there was a lot of laugh out loud moments, and like I said, there's some moments where he's just like, what in the world, creepy. But the movie's not politically correct at all, but I don't care about that at all. It's actually one of the pluses I give it. Like, there's one scene where this black dude, is picking on him and calling him all these names and stuff, and he ends up killing him. It's not a spoiler, it happens in the movie and whatever. But he ends up wearing this black dude's skin and just chasing after this prostitute. And the thing is, he's walking like a black dude when he wears the skin, and he's talking like a black dude and all that. It's really funny, but it's really disturbing, like, when you actually think about it. It's like a really dark black comedy and scenes like that, and it's a really kind of like mean-spirited film. Now, as far as the effects go, and those are really the only actors in the movie. It's pretty much Ricky Lake, Tracy Lords, Ted Raimi, and then the prostitutes that Ted Raimi kills, and then Ricky Lake's boyfriend or husband. That's literally pretty much all the cast. There's someone that owns like a seedy hotel that Tracy Lords go-tos, but he's like a whatever character. It's pretty much, it looks all shot on location, like a grimy LA kind of city. It's like, you can tell it's like in the ghetto kind of area. There's a lot of graffiti on walls, and it's just it's a pretty seedy area this movie takes place in, but I really dug it as far as this story goes. Now, last I want to leave it on, the effects are pretty decent. I mean, they were done by KNB Effects, who are really famous. They did Wishmaster and countless stuff. Greg Nicotero and Robert Kirkman or Kurtzman or whatever. And there's someone else. I don't know. But they did some pretty decent effects here. It's not as believable as I was expecting. I mean, you could tell they're rubber effects, but, there's some scenes where he's like filleting these women and, peeling the skin off. That's done pretty well. And the black dude suit's done pretty well. So, there's some pretty nasty, scenes in here that are like that. But there's one mistake in here that I can't believe they left in. I don't know if it was them transferring this to widescreen that made this in there. It was really bizarre, but there's a scene where Ted Raimi ties this prostitute up and he ends up leaving, and you could see us like a technician of some sort in the side of the view. So if any of y'all watched this and saw the same dude, and it was, comment below, just because it really struck me as really interesting that this, like, I don't know what the hell he was, like some kind of cameraman or some sound tech, I don't know what he was, but he's like standing on the side, plainly visible, and it's kind of like that makes it have like an amateurish feel to it. And just the fact that Ted Raimi's the main star kind of has like an amateurish feel to it, because you never really see him as the main person, and it's just really hard to take him seriously. But I'm going to end it with my thoughts on this. I had a blast with the movie. I thought it was super fun. It's 88 minutes and it flies by. Like, I'm going to be watching this in the next week or two again. I enjoyed it that much. I just loved it. It's really sleazy. In the opening credits, there's Ted Raimi tying up some naked chick and all that, and it has a lot of laugh out loud moments, and it's just, you can't go wrong with this movie. It's pure, it's a hidden gem for sure. More people need to see it. As far as all the Severin films that I own, off the top of my head, this is my favorite one. Like, I like Eaten Alive. I like a lot of the other ones I have. I haven't seen Invasion of the Blood Farmers, but I doubt it'll be as good as this. Like, this is their best release as far as my personal taste goes. But I'm biased because I love 90s films and all that, and I love, like, serial killer movies to boot. So this was literally right up my alley. Now, the transfer was typical Severin transfer. It was pretty good. Nothing mind-blowing, but it was good. And I also gotta say, there's a lot of, like, good colors in this. Like, there's scenes that are lit by green and purples and stuff, so some of it has like a Reanimator type lighting, so it did look pretty good on Blu-ray. Now there's an interview with the director, an interview with Ted Raimi, an interview with the screenwriter, an interview with the editor, and outtakes for the flaying sequence where he's kind of cutting the skin off and all that, in a trailer. So unfortunately there is no commentary, which kind of sucks. I really would have loved a commentary for this film, but it is what it is. Skinner, definitely give this a try. You can probably buy this like 15 on Amazon or whatever. It's worth it. Definitely pick it up. It's super fun. And it's worth it alone just for Ted Raimi's performance. Makes it worth it alone. But when I make my list of best physical releases of 2019, like, I guess this came out in 2019. This is 2018, actually. Wow. Anyways, but I don't know. I'll have to see exactly what date this came out, because I could have swore this was 2019, but I could be wrong on that. But if this is 2019, this is going to make my top 10 list of favorite releases of 2019 for sure, as far as home video releases go. But anyways, I rambled on enough. Anyways, guys, peace.